Hello, and welcome to episode 2 of Business Casual, presented by Instinct Marketing. I'm Zach Ignatski, and we've got an even better show for you. We've got 3 phenomenal new guests. We've got an owner of a beauty company who specializes in microblading, and guess what? You're going to learn about that just like I did, because I didn't know what that was before. We've got a very dynamic and innovative head of a photography company, and we've got the EVP of one of the biggest modular home building companies in Canada. So we are going to bring them all right now. Okay, so here we have everyone is coming on. Lara and Howard are here, and Kareen should be on in a second. Hello, everyone. Can everybody hear me?
I can.
Be able if I can hear you. Hear me now?
Can you
awesome.
hear me?
I can hear you. Howard, you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. Laura, how you going? Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Everybody's here. How's everyone's day going?
Very well. How's yours?
Phenomenal. Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad everybody, despite me asking everyone at the same time how they were doing, not all shouted at me at the same time. I especially appreciated the non-verbal cues. Exactly. Okay, so just like last time, what we're going to do is first we're going to kick it off by having each of you introduce yourselves, talk about what you do, or as I like to call it, or I've rebranded to who are you and what are you doing here? So why don't we start with Howard? Why don't you tell us who are you and what are you doing here?
Hello, I'm Howard Sher. I am the Executive Vice President of Quality Homes. We are Ontario's largest modular home builder, meaning we build homes off-site in a huge plant and then we assemble them on people's lots like giant Lego. Fun business, been doing that 20 years, business been around 30 odd years. Interesting times for us. And just as a side note, I've known Zachary since he was 1 hour old.
That actually is completely true. In fact, he may have even known me before that.
True.
See, my best thing is that how would you describe it as giant Lego? Whereas to me, the giantest Lego I could imagine is the Millennium Falcon, which is $900 and is 7,500 pieces and about the size of a coffee table.
Still bigger than that, so all good.
Well, I want both. So Kareen, why don't you tell us who are you and what are you doing here?
Well, my name's Kareen. I own a company called Electrafire Studios. I do everything from glamour shots to corporate to actually directing film. And I'm here to kind of mix and mingle and meet some new people here.
I love it. Isn't it great? We've reached the point of technology where you can mingle without having to leave your house. You don't even.
It's really exciting. So thank you very much, Zach, for letting me kind of hang out with you guys.
You're very welcome. I'd like to put a blue fluorescent drink with you, just in case things get a little too intense.
Mine's not fluorescent, but I have one.
Oh. I just have my tea, so. But I can easily go change that out.
Yeah, I got mine too. Oh, so good, so good. Okay, Lara, so who are you and what are you doing here?
My name is Lara. I have a permanent makeup business that I started about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And I have known Zachary as long as he has known Baloo. Zach, do you want to elaborate?
That's a really good point. For all those out there who don't know, and at this point, anyone who knows me for more than 8 seconds would know that my family adopted a blue-eyed rescue dog named Baloo. Well, we named him that after we found him because he was 4 weeks old and he'd never say what his name was. And Laura and her family are very involved in the process and I'd like to suggest to be equally as obsessed with him as we are, though I know that's really not a fair standard to hold anybody to. Okay, so first thing I want to talk about is sort of how you guys all got started in your businesses. And I know that what I'm really excited about tonight is that each of you is at a very different stage of your business. You know, some of you have been in business for a shorter time. Some of you have been in business for, a much longer time. And I sort of want to get the insight for everybody out there in terms of what got you started, what motivated you to start your own business. And since you went last time, Lara, why don't you go first this time? Say that 10 times fast.
All right. So my business is called Lara Jade Beauty. It's a permanent makeup business. Permanent makeup is a form of cosmetic tattooing. So for women generally who've lost their eyebrow hair or just sick of applying makeup every day, in the most simple words, I tattoo on eyebrows and soon to be lipstick and eyeliner. What got me started in this business was about 4 years ago. I learned about microblading through probably Instagram, as everybody seems to be learning about things these days. I researched a ton and I really wanted to get it done. Through my research, I found out that there was a high probability that I was allergic to the pigment used in the tattoo ink. And the reason for that is because I'm allergic to hair dye. So by then I'd fallen so in love with the art of microblading and the transformations that I decided I'm going to learn how to do it. I also noticed a bit of a gap in the market where the most beautiful eyebrows were usually done in somewhere in like Europe. It was a company called Brows that really specialized in making them unbelievably realistic. I couldn't find anyone at the time who did them like that in Toronto, although now there are quite a few, but at the time there was a huge gap in the market and I thought, I'm going to go for it.
I can tell you, I am sure that if I had to do my makeup eyebrow every day, I would be sick of it. I'm already sick of it thinking about it.
I could give you some eyebrows, Zach. We could just add a little to the tail.
Yeah, whoa. I love my like fading away tail. It's a look I've been working on since I was born.
It's like a reverse ombre.
Exactly. That's whatever that means.
I got you.
So
you got me.
Just send me like a list of terms. Like, oh yeah, I totally know. Yeah, ombre. Yeah, umlaut. That's another eyebrow term. That's definitely a real thing. McDouble. That's also one. I love a McDouble.
No, we don't. Nobody wants a McDonald's arch eyebrow.
Oh no.
No.
It's just a big
no.
And on that note, Kareen, why don't you tell us a little about how you got started and why you got started?
Yeah, I've been doing art since probably the very first day in public school and kind of just been building as I went. And I kind of really found my love of photography in high school. And when I was coming out of high school, my parents were like, you shouldn't really go into the art field because it's a very competitive field. So I actually went into computer programming instead. And I did that for a couple years. But while I was programming, I was still shooting like almost every day. And then I got a job in New York, which is where I took that, for 6 months. And I was out every night, just roaming the streets, just capturing the art, going to museums. I just realized that was my passion and my dream. And I just loved captivating and capturing stories. So I just, I went back and quit my job and went back to school for photography and haven't looked back since. So I've been kind of building as I go. And as the game changes, I've had to kind of rethink and reshift what I do. So it started off as photography and now I do video and directing.
That's awesome. Gotta love a passion story that starts in one direction, leads completely to the other. You're basically
100%.
a walking Disney movie.
Just waiting for Disney to call me.
We're talking about the movie trailer. We were talking about the movie trailer voice just the last episode. So if you want, I'll work on your inner world story and then you can just shoot the rest.
Deal.
Okay, cool. And so Howard, what made you decide this was the business for me?
Well, I guess there's a bit of different life stage to the ladies, and I got to commend you guys. Like, following your passions is what it's all about. I mean, that's just amazing. Well done. So it was a business opportunity that was presented to me. I already had some construction and architecture background, but it made an awful amount of sense to me that you would take a construction process that was wildly uncontrolled and very, very subjected to the weather and bring it indoors, control it. So it just made a whole bunch of sense to help people not have these nightmares of huge delays, huge cost overruns, get the quality right, being able to be efficient, whether you're building in Sudbury or Sarnia or South Toronto, it makes no difference. You still have efficiency, you have high quality. So just appealed to me on an enormous amount of levels, and fed my passion for architecture and design as well.
Awesome. So it sounds like you did have a bit of a passion story, even though it sounds like it just started off with a business opportunity.
If you're not doing your passion, Zach, don't get out of bed. Just find something else.
I like it. So what if your passion is staying in bed?
Oh yeah. Now that's my passion.
Professional mattress tester.
In this day and age, it's probably not a bad hobby. So
It's true. It's true. By the way, for everybody watching at home, there will be a portion where we'll be taking questions from the comment section, which I've got open over there. So if you guys have any questions for our wonderful entrepreneurs and business owners in front of us, please send those over, and I will be asking those. So just keep them coming. Also, if even wants to say hi, I'm definitely willing to give a shout out. By the way, hey Lara, Steph Bjerstrom has said hi, and Ahmed has said that Lara is the bomb, and Lisa Diesel is here.
Hi everyone.
Lisa.
Okay, so my next question is: so each of you have a business, and I would imagine there's at least one other person in that field, based on what you're telling me. At least one competitor. So how do each of you, I want to know, stand out from these competitors? What makes you guys unique in what you do that makes somebody go, I want, that's the company for me? So Howard, why did you start us off this time?
So I think our biggest edge is that we really take our customers' needs and wants into account by being a custom builder. So, lots and lots of builders will say they are custom, but they want you to conform to their plans, their ways that they do it. So we really open it up to be able to service customers who want a tiny home, 500, 600 square feet, to customers who want a gargantuan estate, 5,000 or 6,000 square feet. Different levels of finishes, different, so just differentiating around our customers' lifestyles, needs, wants, and, giving them their dream, whether it's modest or very fancy, whether it's simple, ornate, modern, transitional, just being flexible, way more flexible than our competitors.
That's awesome. I can tell you that having worked in the industry that is also very customer driven, flexibility is something they definitely enjoy. I don't mean literally. If you try to show them how flexible you are physically, they are not impressed by it at all. They want to know why you interrupted your own PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so Lara, why don't you tell us, how do you stand out from the crowd despite your brow?
Despite my brows. Two things come to mind when you ask me that. The first is I emphasize natural eyebrows. I really, really, really want to give somebody eyebrows that do not look like they were tattooed on, eyebrows that maybe could be real. The second thing that comes to mind is that I have recently been awarded a title of a royal artist. So a royal artist is one of the most prestigious titles that you can get from the academy that I trained with. To give you a picture of what that really means, there are about 300 artists certified in Toronto and the GTA, but only 5 of them have been awarded the title of royal artist. So I feel very, very honored. And I think that definitely makes me stand out against the competition.
You feel honored. We're literally in the presence of royalty.
Thank you.
Okay, and Kareen, how do you stand out against all the other people in your field out there?
There are a few. I think with me, it's, and we kind of like chatted really quick about this. It's kind of like a triple threat. Like I try to bring my personality to the job site because I like to have a little bit of fun. I keep it very professional, but when you're working with models and corporate people, they don't like to be photographed so much. So if I can get them relaxed, and I literally have 10 seconds to meet someone, put them at ease so they feel comfortable with me taking their photos, as well as adaptability. If you can't adapt in this game, you are gone. Within the last 5 years, I've had to throw myself into videos, video editing, drone. I've had to upgrade my equipment multiple times. So it's just one of those things where you just gotta You got to keep rolling with whatever the client asks for. And if you don't know it, you got to learn really quick, or you got to hire someone else to work with you that can do it.
That's very cool. Well, then on that note, that's an interesting question. So in your opinion, what makes a really great photo? Like what makes you look at a photo and go, oh my God, that's a photo. That's going 5 stars in my Photos app?
Okay, good question. That could be all kinds of different things. Like if you look at a photo, it could be the architecture. So it could be the structure, it could be the lines. But if it's a photo of a person, it could invoke like a feeling. So it all depends on what the photo is and how it kind of strikes you. So I wouldn't say there's one set thing about a photo, and each person, it's going to be completely different. So for me, like if I look at portrait photography, that kind of resonates with me a lot more than architecture. So it's just, or even some people look at dogs and cats and they just melt.
I don't know what that's like at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't light play like a major, like to me, light in a photo, like it just seems to make it or break it?
100%. Yeah. So lighting is a huge technique that I love to use with everything. You can use a photo so you can take a photo and it could be really flat. So when you're doing photos of architecture and houses, if you didn't have like a sunny day like this behind me, it would nothing would stand out, nothing would pop. So you're right, 100%. Lighting is key. Lighting, shadows, depth and detail.
Awesome. So Howard, my question for you is, when we're not going to call them difficult, when you've got a client who wants an unusual request, or they are constantly changing their mind, but you still want to deliver great service to them, but they're often, they're just making it more challenging than it could be if they were to just let you do it your way. What would your advice be to everybody out there who's working with those types of clients?
So, there's an art and a science to all of this. I think, the girls will see that too. So if you have your details down, you're going to do okay. If you're sloppy with the details, it's very difficult even to control the artistic side. So if you bamboozle an unrealistic client with a lot of detail, it definitely calms them down, because they feel like A, your craft, B, you know what they're looking for, and C, you've done this before and you have the experience. So I think when difficult clients feel like they can't trust your experience, judgment, resource base, that's when things get really scattered. Unfortunately, in my business, I'm dealing with things that could be tens, 20s, $50,000, and it needs to be realistic. So if you give the detail to the budget, give the detail to the inclusions, what's needed, what's wanted, it helps an enormous amount.
Okay, awesome.
You've also got to find what the triggers are in terms of, if somebody wants a ridiculous request, what's actually driving that? Is it the ego? Is it the need? And try and deal with that as well, just to get on top of it. Otherwise, it'll run rampant, the whole project. We're building something with 200 components in it. You want to make sure you control them all.
Mm-hmm. Okay, excellent. So Lara, for you, what for you has been the most effective form, I guess, of advertising yourself and getting your name out there, and what sort of within that most effective device or platform, what's the way you've used it in order to really stand out?
I have always relied on Instagram as my main form of marketing. However, now that I'm more established, I am noticing a huge amount of my clients are coming from referral and word of mouth. I feel grateful to have Instagram as a platform now that is very popular. It's an amazing way to connect with people and make it feel like you know each other, even if you don't really. So yeah, just
Okay, well, that's actually an interesting point. So then, what would you say to somebody who, there's a lot of a perception out there with social media that you're like, social media is it's still a play thing at the end of the day. It's not a really serious businessy thing. How do you, I guess, challenge that perception? Because I'm sure there's people come to like Instagram, that's not going to get me anywhere.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you're using your Instagram for. So there are people who are using their Instagram just to scroll and watch funny videos. And then there are people who use their Instagram as a form, like a tool to research. I use it all the time. If I'm looking for a hairdresser in Toronto and I want to see a bunch of photos of, her work, it's the easiest place to get 50 photos right away versus, calling them or going on the website. There's usually not many photos. I feel like it's a more up-to-date, not a resume, but a portfolio.
That's actually a really good way of putting it. I wouldn't have thought about it like that, but it is a portfolio. And in fact, it's a really easily built portfolio. It's designed to be pretty. It's designed to be visually appealing, even just the squares and coming down. But there is definitely a perception I find, often even with my clients, sometimes you're like, oh, let's do the social media campaign. Like, oh, do I really need to do that? And little do they know that like Facebook and Instagram ads are often regarded as like the most effective tool. Mm-hmm. Like even all you need to, because these systems, just for everybody out there who doesn't know, Facebook and Instagram, but particularly Facebook, I find is so good at building audiences, and that's what makes it so strong. Yeah. Because you can target everybody by anything, by like age or job or interest or area or salary, marital status, what they had for lunch on Wednesday. Like it's really specific. You can target exactly who you want, and then all those people see you, and then then there's the great click-through debate, because somebody will say, like, people often say, oh, well, I got you this amount of clicks, and you say, well, I didn't get any sales out of those clicks. And then they go, but I didn't promise you sales, I promised you clicks. And then you say, well, what am I going to do with clicks? I didn't get any sales. And then it's a great debate. But the point of the story is, I'm of the opinion that if you have a great site, if you're getting the clicks, you will get conversions. But a lot of people don't necessarily know that. And I feel like that's where the breakdown happens. Okay. So by the way, just for everybody tuning in, we want to remind everybody of who our guests are. We have Lara Brown, who is the owner of Lara Jade Beauty. She specializes in eyebrows and microblading specifically. We have Kareen Mallon, who is the owner of Electrafire Studios. They do photography and videography. And we have Howard Sher, who is the executive vice president of Quality Homes. They are Ontario's largest modular home factory, and they make absolutely phenomenal homes.
Good plug, Zach.
Thank you.
Well
I
done.
tried my best, coach. Okay, so now we're going to talk about something we also mentioned on the previous show, and it was quite a well-received topic. We want to talk about brand and culture. And it's going to be interesting because, Howard, you've had this company for some time now, so you've got a whole, because the question is, A, what's your brand? And B, if you had a massive company, your company took off, what would you want your culture to be? But you're in a unique position because you've already sort of got that established because you have such a large company. So that's why I'm going to come to you last. You've got all this time to build it up quick.
It's ready for you, Zach.
My culture is super good. So Kareen, so I guess what's your brand and what would your culture be if your company took off to the maximum degree?
I think I've had to reshift a couple times throughout the years to kind of hone who I am, because at first when you come out of the gate as a photographer, you try to give everybody what they want and you kind of ignore who you are. So you come out and you have people who do weddings right away, and then they kind of find themselves. So I've gone and I've done the barrage, I've done the cornucopia of different things. I would definitely say my brand is very like fun and energetic and vibrant. And the clients that I have kind of speak to that. So one of my clients is New Balance. So we do kind of like very energetic, either sports photography or just product photography based on that. But I still do have the corporate guys. I have Vic West, who does roofing. But again, they hire me in because I'm versatile, young and versatile. I come in, I can pull out the drone or I can just do the headshots right on the same site as well. So I'd say building a company, marketing standpoint wise, just young, vibrant, youthful. So you have other guys who have studios. I think nowadays to own a studio is a detriment because it shows that you can't kind of just go where the client's needs are. You're almost asking the client to come to you all the time.
Okay, very cool. No, it's interesting because, you talk, shifting your brand and, being true to yourself versus giving the client what they want. And I'm as guilty of that as anybody. When I first started Instinct Marketing, I tried to emulate all the big agencies out there and like, we're a full service agency and no. And like, you go through all the rhetoric and it's true. But at the same time, I felt like I wasn't really, doing what I wanted, which is just having that little twist of fun in there. That's again why this is called business casual, that this is about professionalism and high profile stuff, and it is everybody's proper jobs, but you can still have fun and joke around about me finding a dog and calling him Blue. Sorry, to be fair, my dad found a dog. Okay, so Lara, why don't you tell us all about your brand and what your culture would be if you had a massive beauty studio?
So my brand, 2 adjectives come to mind right off the bat. The first one is transparency, which I think is huge. Seeing as these procedures are semi-permanent or potentially permanent, it's a priority of mine to ensure that the client is really, really aware of any possible risks, as well as how they will look in 10 years down the line. So it's really easy to give somebody nice brows day one, but the challenge is to ensure that they still look good in 4 to 5 years from now. I'm sure you've all seen women walking around with blue eyebrows, gray eyebrows, it's not a good look. So I just want to make sure that every single person knows the risks and knows. I like to educate my clients. I like to tell them there are different techniques I can use. This one might heal like this. This one might heal like this. It's up to you. I mean, it's not always up to them. If one's a really bad idea, it's not up to them, but you know what I mean? The second adjective I use is altruistic. So I say this for 2 reasons. The first is that I would rather turn away a client and lose the business if I foresee any problems with their healing or their long-term results. As soon as people hear me say this or tell them I'd rather not do your eyebrows, they trust me more because it's not about the money. It's not about the business. I actually care about my clients and I actually care about how they're going to look 5-10 years down the line. For example, somebody with really, really thick skin will come to me and say they want microblading, but they're probably going to turn gray over time. So I'm probably going to say no. Yeah, so I mean, that's really it. I'm very transparent. Another reason I use altruistic as an adjective to describe my brand is that I offer free procedures to women who have alopecia, so any partial or complete hair loss, or anyone who's undergone chemotherapy and lost their hair. And this is my way of giving back to the community in the way that I can.
Well, I gotta love that. I'm always a big fan of any sort of give back to the community, especially in an environment where somebody's probably feeling not the best, and you can sort of help them feel better in that capacity.
Yeah.
So big ups to you on that one.
Yeah.
So Howard, so tell us all about your brand and culture, but at the same time, I would like to add one little note of how you managed to establish that after over the years. Before we get into that, I just want to remind the crowd, we will be taking comments and questions from the crowd. So if anybody has any questions, I know some have already come through. We will be going through all of those and communicating that to our guests. So Howard, have at it.
So the modular home industry has been tarnished for a long time with an image of being like mobile home, tornado target. It's been tough. So to develop a culture of quality and trust, and even like your other guest said, transparency and trust are the 2 biggest things that anybody's looking for. Whether it's having beauty shots taken or whether it's being beautified or whether it's a place to live, ultimately trust goes way further than any of the other determinants of price or quality or anything else. So by being genuine, by telling people who we are, what we are, and how we do it, not avoiding the fact that we build in a facility and actually showing all the benefits of that as opposed to the perceived downfalls of that. So once we got to grips with understanding that our process was in fact phenomenal, even though it may have people think otherwise, it allowed us to have the confidence and the personality to go ahead and promote that in a way that developed transparency and trust. So we've had a long time to do it. I've been there 20 years. I would say it took us at least, when we bought the business, probably 5 or 6 years to just basically, knock off all the rust, reposition it, rebrand it, and just nurture those feelings of trust and transparency. It seems overly simple, but if you do that day in and day out, you'll grow a brand that people relate to, that people want to refer to. People want to refer people they trust. Yes, it might be a good deal, or it might be great quality, but if there's not that trust essence, the referrals won't come. So I think once you have a referrer base and referees, it starts taking on its momentum by itself. So to new businesses, develop the personality of the brand, keep the transparency and trust at the forefront, and believe in it. Like if you are not passionate about your brand, forget it. So just be confident, put your money where your mouth is, and the results will come.
Awesome. Okay,
Well,
so the next thing we're going to talk about, and then after that we'll move to the Q&A from the crowd, is the big word on everybody's mind, the thing that everybody's having to deal with. It's COVID, 19 specifically. And of course, it's hit all of our businesses. Everybody's affected in one way or another, we'll say. But I was just curious to see sort of everybody, from you guys' perspective, how has it affected you, and what are you doing to combat it? And, what's your special strategy that you are using to, I guess, make it a little bit better for everybody as well as yourselves? So why don't we start with Kareen this time?
Fair enough. I think as soon as it kind of hit, I want to say I saw an opportunity, but it was one of two different ways. I could lay down and kind of accept the fate that was happening, or I could try to adjust the fate that is going to come. Because a lot of photographers out there, all of my gigs have been canceled up till September. So it's just everything from like photos, videos across the board. So it's kind of like a lull. So I'm like, I have equipment, I have gear, I have knowledge. I don't want to be sedentary. Like I could sit on the couch and watch Netflix every day if I really wanted to, but I thought I want to give back to the community and keep pushing myself, and to show those who are, on Instagram and the TikTok, that I'm around and I'm still active and doing stuff. So I've been doing something called isolation games. So it's kind of like a fun little way for me to interact with those people who are on my social media and others who've never met me before. I do little quick 1 to 5 minute videos, just kind of showing my skill set, what I can do, and people get to know my personality and know that kind of I am that trustworthy person. And just to know that what I'm doing here within my home, I can do on a larger scale outside as well.
Awesome. I like that you managed to try and jump on it as soon as possible, because there's always going to be situations where you hit the wall and you just got to push through it. Or as my grandfather ever so eloquently put once, if at first you don't succeed, swear profusely and keep going.
I like that.
Okay, Lara. So why don't you tell us about your situation with COVID and what you've been doing to combat that?
So my business is 1000% shut down. Eyebrows are unfortunately not an essential service, although I think they are very essential. I haven't seen a client or made a penny in 2 months. There's no way to tattoo someone's eyebrows and maintain 6 feet from them. So it's just closed. In terms of what I've been doing to promote my business during this time, I've been very sensitive to the fact that people are going through a lot of financial hardship. Seeing as over 50% of people have lost their jobs or are really struggling, and my procedures range around $300 to $500, I have completely halted on promoting eyebrows. Instead of promoting eyebrows, I've used this time to post more personal content and allow my audience to get to know me and my personality, and kind of builds that online connection, human to human, and I've taken the focus away from pushing eyebrows to, hi, I'm Lara, nice to meet you. This is who I am.
I like it. It's a good adjustment. It's because it's as we were saying before, it's trusting that person, right? So ultimately, you're trying to establish more of that as a recognized brand. So by the time they do come back and they can do it, they feel more confident in you. I just want to take a beat. Well, everybody's doing phenomenally. I just want to say that Kareen is getting so much love in the comments right now. From Lisa and Amalia and my Lisa and my sister apparently love isolation games. But I'm just saying everybody's doing a great job. But for all of Lara and Howard supporters, you guys got to let them know they're doing a great job too. Otherwise, they're going to feel left out. Just saying. Okay. So Howard, why don't you tell us about everything you've been doing to combat the situation and how it's affected you?
Well, and I think that there's three things that I love about this, and I hate to use the word love and COVID in the same sort of sentiment, but number one is you will never get another opportunity to focus on your business from a step back like this ever again. Like, I've been in various forms of business for over 30 years. I've never had the chance to take a breath, take a step back, study my business without having to be caught in the kerfuffle. So, you're not doing eyebrows, you're not taking photos. What a great opportunity to assess all the different opportunities where you're at. So it's a great pause to look at your business in a completely different way, because looking at it from chaos is always difficult. That's the first one. The second one is, it's a great equalizer. Whether you're 7 years old or 17 years old, nobody's done this before. There's no millennials looking at old people saying, oh my God, like, I can't believe you said that or you did it. Like, everybody's opinion's valid in how to deal with this. Everybody is trying their best. Everybody seems to be being as creative as they can. So I just think we're all in this together, and that's a pretty unique opportunity in business as well. The third one, selfishly for me, is that people are spending so much time in their houses, in their homes, that they are learning things about the way they want to live that they will transfer to new builds. So, all of a sudden that open to above foyer at the front door that they spent an extra $17,000 on means absolutely nothing. The limestone that they imported from Italy for $48,000 is now colder and harder than it's ever been. So people are learning how they live, how they interact, what happens in the kitchen, prep, togetherness, maybe some quiet time. All of a sudden, all of our inquiries, everybody's asking us about finishing their basement so they can have a gym or a craft room or something. We've always finished basements, but people have never given it that much attention and thought. So just to have the time and the resources to take a good, solid look at your business in a calm environment, I think is sacred. And I think that everybody will have post-COVID strategies come out of this that are not just about COVID. They last for the length of the business, and they help your business post-COVID, even though they were invented to deal with COVID.
Awesome. I love that you guys are all, you all have a strategy that despite all the horribleness that's going on, we managed to all kind of take positives out of the situation. Say, okay, sure, this sucks, but let's not make it all bad. Let's do something good with what we can do. Lisa and Amalia are going absolutely bananas now, throwing some love down there in the comments.
Getting it.
Lisa even said, I'm doing a great job. Oh, so is Sasha. Sasha also is throwing love left and right. But now I think we're going to finally take some comments questions from the comments, because everybody's been so very patient, and I want to thank everybody for that. So the first question is for Lara. Lara, Lisa wants to know, do you do organic permanent makeup? Because she got organic permanent makeup done on her eyebrows and they turned somewhat gray and turned very light.
So the term organic permanent makeup, I'm assuming, refers to the pigment that was used, which is organic. Sorry, say it again. They turned gray. What was the end of it?
She wrote here to say that she got, sorry, I lost the comment. I got organic permanent makeup done on my eyebrows and they turned somewhat gray and turned very light. And she's asking if you offered the same service in order to maybe to like amend it or something?
So the pigment I use is synthetic. However, the turning of gray may be due to the skin type. If she's got thick skin or very, very white skin and dark hair, there's always a risk that when you have dark and you cover it with thick white, that the result is going to look gray over time. In terms of fading, that's 100% normal. The reason it fades is because the skin grows on top. So you're actually seeing the permanent makeup through a filter. And that is why permanent makeup, although it says it's called permanent, it does require touch-ups to kind of boost that color and bring it back to the surface.
And is that something you can do even if someone else did the initial job?
Hard question to answer. I would have to see what they look like and see if there is anything I can do to fix them. If some eyebrows are just too far gone, unfortunately, and they do need to be removed. Some are salvageable and I can work on them. So it's a very case-by-case question.
Okay, cool.
That's fair.
The next question is for Kareen. So how long would it take to do a promo video in your mind? Like if somebody says, I want to come to make a promotional video, like what does that process look like? How long? I mean, I know it might say like how long is a piece of string. So rather than, I guess, timeline, like you can give like a rough ballpark and just sort of walk us through the process of what a promo video for a business looks like.
100%. For me, that's case by case. I'm not one of those photographers who does like carbon copy. I want to know what's the end goal. Is it for a website? Is it for Instagram? Is it for YouTube? Because people's viewing attention spans are a lot less than they used to be. If it's Instagram, it's going to be 60 seconds. If it's YouTube, your max is like 15 minutes, but I still would never do a 15-minute promo because about 3 minutes in, people are tapped. If I kind of gauge how much time they want spent on it, then I sit down with them and we kind of go over the storyboard. So I do actually a walkthrough of their business and talk to them about, well, what do you want the main aspect of the video to be? What's your showcase? And then we kind of build it around there. Who's going to be in it? What's its feature? If I'm doing a video, I can probably shoot a video in a day, depending, and then it's going to take about a week for me to edit that. And the way that I do video is I'll kind of give the client a copy and then they can give me revisions based on that. So I'm all about feedback. Feedback is huge with me. I would be a very selfish artist if I just was like, this is my vision and I'm not going to work with yours.
That's an interesting question, because on that note, I just have thought, what do you do with a client? Because I've definitely got this, where you give the client a piece and they go, I don't like it. And you go, what don't you like about it? And they go, I don't know, I don't like it.
Yeah, that definitely happens. I'm not saying that everything's perfect. It's just, that's why you have to really set ground rules and expectations. Expectations are huge when it comes to doing what we do, just because I want to see maybe even samples and talk to them about, like, do you like this aspect, or even color? Do you like this coloring? And if it's something that I've worked on and they absolutely don't like, I'm not going to take offense to it because I can't. It's at the end of the day, it's something that I help create, but it's about them. It's not about me. So I have to take a step back and kind of work with what they want.
No, that's fair. I just, it's always hard with clients, especially in the creative field, because everything's so subjective. Where, they can even give you like exact guidelines and then, you're doing this or that. And then suddenly it's like, no, take the whole thing apart. Or that my favorite thing, whenever I was working on a design project, and I'm not a designer, I would always just sort of like oversee it, like make the logo bigger. Okay, but like it's already pretty big. No, make it bigger. Use all the space. No negative space.
Yeah, that's where definitely setting expectations and contracts come into hand, right? So you can work into a contract saying, okay, we're going off of this vision. You have 3 revisions of the first video, and kind of work within that. But if it's a completely from scratch project that is far left field, then you have to go, is this customer someone I want to salvage and work with again? Then you have to take the hit. And if it's someone you're like, you know what, I'm already not feeling the vibe, then you kind of go, well, we have this contract, let's see what we can do within it and then move forward with that.
Exactly.
And sometimes it's, if you have to lose a client, you lose a client, and that's, it's not, you're not being selfish. It's just like when you evaluate eyebrows and you're just like, money is something completely different. It's just, can you work with the customer, the consumer, what's their vision? And if it's just something that's completely left field and you guys just don't see eye to eye, you have to walk away.
Yeah. I think
100%.
100%. I think in any business, just it's sort of at a point at which you have to sort of always know when to cut your losses. Free tip for the world out there: it is okay if your piece of art or some sort of design has negative space. It is okay if your logo isn't absolutely enormous. Your logo doesn't necessarily need to be bigger. Trust the designer; they know what looks good. Okay, Howard, the crowd question for you comes from Russell, and Russell wants to know, how do you transport the house? So you built it in the factory. What's the transportation process to the site, and how do you get ready for that? What's that look like?
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal. So we have very specialized trailering equipment. So the house is built in modules. So, imagine, Zach, your house would be probably built in 2 pieces and 2 stories, you pile them on top, but each one is individually transported on huge trucks and trailering equipment. And then we crane it into place as well. So if we are installing a house in Halliburton, we may have to drive a full day to get there, get through towns, police escorts, all sorts of logistics around that. Check out my website, qualityhomes.ca, and there's lots of install videos that show you, how it gets transported, how it gets craned on. Fun to watch.
That's cool.
Does sound pretty cool. Actually, so the other question for you is, in terms of, we've seen sort of these, I don't know if this counts as a tiny home, but like I've seen these pods, like pod homes that kind of stack on top of each other, and they're all smart homes. They look very cool and trendy, and you can sort of transport them as you go. Is that something you guys build, or is it just strictly like a normal house just in pieces?
So we build a variety of products. The whole tiny house thing is very popular in theory. It's tough in practice for a number of reasons that I won't get into, but the economics aren't as tiny as the house, which is unfortunate. But townhouses themselves are in fact pods. And, if you look at a condo design, a condo is a bunch of stacked modules, the way they're built. So, it's not so much how we build, it's what we build. So pretty much anything can be modularized. We only deal in wood frame construction. We can only build 6 stories high, but pods, tiny homes, all very, very doable, provided they make economic sense.
Okay, cool. Okay, any other questions from the crowd? Feel free to blast those through. We're going to move over to the last portion, which is one of my favorites, and I say that making up the entire schedule. So the last section is called 30 seconds. And for those of us who viewed last time, it is a very simple game where each of us have a card from a box, and there are 10 things on the card, and we each have 30 seconds to describe said thing. You can't be like rhymes with, but you can do, not east but west, or not up but down, things like that. And you only have 30 seconds to get through the entire card. So I'm going to do the test round with everybody, and I actually have an assistant on the side there who is going to be keeping track of who gets the most answers correct. So this is just the practice round. We will not be keeping score this time around. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to set up the timer here.
Zach, I have a question before you start.
Yes.
What if there's a word on your card that you don't know what it means?
Skip it.
Okay.
I looked it up.
Oh, I just saw it now. Okay. Ready.
Okay. So I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. It's the place where you take your mail, your letters.
Post office.
Yes. I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. That movie.
Godfather.
Yes. Okay. She was married to Ashton Kutcher. She was much older than him.
4.
Yes. Okay. It's the thing that crosses your path. It's the opposite. Yes. That's it. It's in Texas. It's one of the cities in Texas.
Austin, Dallas.
No, the other one.
Houston.
Yes. Okay. It's the end of the world as we know it.
REM.
It's yes. Oh wait, no, that's the other one. Is that REM? Dang it. All right, I botched that. That's time. I meant to be doing Radiohead. And that's why this game is amazing. No. That's why this game is amazing. Okay. So now that you guys have seen how that works, I'm going to start the timer. Is the counter ready?
Is the counter
Yes.
below?
The count. I mean, if I could teach Baloo to count, I'm taking him to the circus.
He's famous.
Yes. Okay. You got a dash money.
You just need to pop.
Yeah. That's the Baloo voice, everybody. Okay. We are getting ready to go in
Who's going?
3. Okay. Sorry, I didn't say who's going. Who's going? Kareen, you're going first because I looked at you first. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Your time starts. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's a very large pageant where if you win it, you are the.
Miss Universe.
It is a sports game that has an acronym of 4 letters that is used with your foot to kick it.
Soccer, football.
FIFA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's 4 letters and it's the championship.
World Cup.
FA Cup?
And yeah.
FIFA World Cup.
Bam. It's the largest university in the States. It's in Boston.
Harvard.
And
That is time.
okay.
Ooh.
Okay, I will
Thank you.
share
Thank
all
you.
your.
You guys do well.
Okay, we're just going to wait for the counter to tell me message to see how many each of you received, but that was well done for having never played this game before. My long-term dream is to make this game very popular. Okay, round 1, I got none. Howie got 1, and Lara got 2. Okay, Howard, you are up next. I will tell you when to go. Are you ready?
I am ready. I've gone to the glasses. I've got to be ready.
Okay. Your time starts in 3, 2, 1, go.
Pirates of the Caribbean actor.
Johnny
Johnny
Depp.
Depp.
Cereal with marshmallows in squares.
Lucky Charms.
Lucky Charms.
No. Small little guys, dried squares, marshmallows.
Rice Krispie squares.
Thank you.
Rice Krispies.
Purple dinosaur.
Arnie.
Arnie.
Town in Ireland, IRA.
Dublin.
War, close.
Blarney.
Cork.
Let's move on. Bad Canadian band starting with a 10-cent piece.
Nickelback.
Thank you.
That's it. And that's time. That was time. Great description. Community
me at-
question.
Horrible Canadian band.
Community question. Is Nickelback actually as bad as everyone says?
No.
Okay, by the way, Lara, I just want to tell you that based on the comments, Lisa says we're all doing a great job, and that, but Lara specifically, Rachel Mizrahi loves you.
Love her too.
Okay, in that round 1, I got 1, Lara got 1, Kareen got 2. Okay, Lara, this is the big round.
Okay, I'm
Are
gonna
you ready
start-
for this?
I don't know 2 out of 5 of these, but here we go.
No, you can use both sides. I sent you 2 sides.
Oh, I can use any? Okay. Still don't know about 4 of
There
those.
you go. Just double options. That's all good. Also going to tell you. Yes, so that's fine. But listen, are you for this jelly?
Are you what?
Are you ready for this jelly?
Totally.
All right. I don't think you're ready. I actually do think you're ready for this jelly. All right, your time starts. 3, 2, 1, go.
A religious figure who did this.
Jesus.
Jesus
Last name.
Christ.
Christ. Oh.
Something you hold after you win a very important sport
Trophy.
with loops.
Olympic trophy.
Metal.
Music, fire.
Olympic torch.
Yep. Victoria's Secret supermodel married to Tom Brady, I think.
Giselle Bundchen.
Disney movie with a gorilla-ish man and a woman who's kind of naked, I think.
Tarzan.
Yes.
And that's time.
I didn't know the rest, so we're good.
Oh, that was good.
That was solid. That was a very solid description. If I'm now waiting for the round 3 results. If we have a tie, I will be reading a card and I will remove myself. All right, let's take a look. I got 3. Okay, so let's tabulate. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it looks like we have a tie between Kareen Kareen and Lara.
Ooh.
So I'm going to read one more, but I will answer none. All right. No, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to know those. I'm deliberately choosing ones I think you'll get. All right.
By exclusion, I'm not going to answer any either.
I mean, you actually weren't that far behind, but I suppose this is the tie break. This is the tie break, I suppose.
Patronizing always works on a good Facebook Live event.
Okay. Time starts in 3, 2, 1, go. The movie with the blue people.
Avatar.
Yes. Okay. It's Conan the
Warrior. Conan the Librarian. Conan the
Librarian.
Yeah, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, skip that. No. Okay, it's a
Barbarian.
fruit. It's yellow. Yes. It's yellow on the inside. It's a fruit.
Banana?
And no, it's like
Orange, lemon.
oblong shape. No, it was a mango.
Papaya mango.
Okay, you know what? I'm ending that one a draw because that was just the best thing ever. Kareen's answer of Conan the Library.
If you've seen UHF, the Weird Al movie from like the 80s, it's a joke in there and it just sunk in. If you guys
be real, sometimes Weird Al songs should be the real version.
That might be the best save ever.
go back and watch it, it's really funny.
It's honestly, as my father said to me once, it's just ridiculous enough to be true.
Thank you.
So that is 9 o'clock. We're going to see if we have any last minute questions to share with anybody. Apparently people don't actually hate on Nickelback as much as I thought. But anyways, I just want to see if you guys have any closing thoughts to all the prospective entrepreneurs out there. Howard, let's start with you.
We touched on it: transparency, trust, work your ass off, and believe in yourself. Like if I can say one thing, like you're unique, you're special, let it all out.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Kareen, closing thoughts for those entrepreneurs out there.
It's not about the money, it's about your heart. So follow your heart and you will get to wherever you actually want to go. And
Lara?
Be prepared to work really hard with no payoff for a long time.
Yep.
She froze up there for me, so just make sure everybody heard. She said, be prepared to have no payoff for a long time. Yeah. But I would like to add, the payoff will come if you keep plugging away. At least that's my perspective.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody. Thank you from Lara Brown at Lara Jade Beauty, Howard Sher from Quality Homes, and Kareen Mallon from Electrafire Studios. Oh, Baloo woke up. And he's going to just lie down over there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. You were all unbelievable. Tune in next Tuesday. We'll have 3 more phenomenal guests. I'm Zach Ignatski, and this is Instinct Marketing Presents Business Casual. And I will see you guys later.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.